today's lesson is going to be on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I was watching the history of rock and roll. It's the 3-disc set that Time Life DVD Films came out with a long time ago. And they had Alice Cooper and big names of rock, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Kiss. And Bob Marley was also on this, and he was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1994. And the guy who inducted him was Bono from U2. And I got to thinking, back to my senior thesis that I did on the Sex Pistols. Now, I don't know if you guys know anything about the Sex Pistols. You guys are probably not educated in the field of punk rock or its history. So to jog your memory a little bit and to give you a little bit of a lesson, Punk Rock 101, Johnny Rotten and the Sex Pistols were going to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Johnny Rotten replied with a handwritten letter, pretty much stating, we're not coming. Can you hear us outside? This shit stain is a real Sex Pistol. Pretty much taking a shot at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So I started thinking, I was like, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, a group recently, I think it was Pantera, actually denied going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm not sure if that's the exact man, but this was about a year and a half ago, when this band said, no, fuck it, we're not going to. We don't want anything to do with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I guess it also had issues with the band. But Johnny Rotten didn't want to go because it wasn't non-profit and it wasn't what they stood for. As much as they made their mark in the history of rock and roll, hard rock, punk, whatever you want to call it, as Ozzy Osbourne said, it's all rock and roll to me, whether it's punk. I don't even know the terms for heavy metal. I don't like using the term heavy metal, which is incredible considering a lot of his fans might consider him heavy metal. So, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I think it was Carnival Souls commented on one of my videos about Violent J and the FBI. And I mentioned Johnny Rotten against the Queen of England. And he said, Violent J is the new Johnny Rotten. That's not so far off. Let me explain that here for a minute. So you've got Johnny Rotten, lead singer of the Sex Pistols, who goes up and speaks against the government. You've got Violent J, who's going up against the FBI, a government-funded agency. People are busy talking about who's biting off of who, but even the old-school rock and roll bands, like Alice Cooper and Led Zeppelin, all these guys, they said that, we took jazz, we took blues, we took Ray Charles, we took all these other guys, we took all their influences and blended it together in our band. It was just a mix of what they had done. It's not really biting off, it's inspiration, really. So, today's day and age, no one's really biting off of anybody. No one's jipping off anybody. It's stuff that's been done that they like, that they took pieces and parts of and created into something of their own. There is nothing wrong with that. It's called innovation. Not necessarily creativity, but innovation. So, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is pretty much, a lot of people see it as an honor, but some of the bands, like the Pistols, saw it as an insult. We stood up against organizations like you. We stood up against the beautiful museums and shit like that, this high ritzy class shit. And you're going to sit here and try and induct us into it and be part of it. That's a no-go. So, that's what I think is going on with today's bands. Don't worry about anyone biting off of anybody. Don't worry, they ripped this off. No, it's all innovation. And your rock and roll heroes that you look up to, your legends, also said this. So as far as I'm concerned with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, it's a nice idea. Some bands might be honored, but it's just another, it's like the WWE Hall of Fame in a way, except I don't agree with a lot of their inductees. The year Eddie Guerrero died, he was inducted. But there's still guys from the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s that haven't gotten their claim to the Hall of Fame, which is kind of messed up. So, something to think about. Just something that was on my mind. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame being a ripoff. And I'm a big fan of the Sex Pistols. I consider myself still a punk rocker. I love punk rock. From the Briggs to Dropkick Murphys, Against All Authority, Cheap Sex, Clip 45, The Voids, old school Casualties, Bad Religion. Yeah, I really have a fascination with punk rock and a lot of the musicians. It's amazing. It's phenomenal music. If you haven't been to one, go to one. Punk rock is incredible. And I would definitely have to say that I would side with the Sex Pistols, which might be a little biased. But I agree with them not wanting to get inducted. So, do your research on the Sex Pistols declining their induction and a few others. What really sparked this was I don't think Bob Marley would have appreciated being inducted into the Hall of Fame, personally. Because that wasn't what he was about. I mean, he had passed away when he got in, before he'd been inducted. And it was Bono who inducted him. You should hear the speech. You should YouTube that. I'm sure it's on YouTube. And hear how he inducted him. It was kind of a mockery the way I saw it. But maybe someone's going to say, no, I'm thinking too much into it. I'm being a little too touchy. But that's just the way I see it, and that's my opinion. And if you don't like my opinion, you can stop watching my videos at any given point whatsoever rather than giving shit. You have the freedom of speech, and you have the freedom to change the channel, switch YouTube videos, do your own video, whatever. I'll always allow video responses. I'll always allow any comments. I won't delete anything. I'm a firm believer in the right to free speech. You have the right to free speech. You do not have the right to be heard. So, those are my last words for this video, and I'll be doing a few more here in the next couple of days. Peace.